5 exotic pets that turn deadly. There's something fascinating about owning the unusual. Exotic pets, wild creatures brought into human homes, have always carried a strange allure. They're rare, beautiful, and unlike the ordinary cat or dog. But behind their mesmerizing beauty lies a dark truth. These animals are not meant to be tamed. And when instincts take over, the results can be fatal. Today, we're diving into the chilling world of 5 exotic pets that turned deadly. These are not just stories of pets gone wrong. These are real events where fascination turned into horror, and sometimes into tragedy. 5. The Burmese python. It was a quiet summer evening in Oxford, Florida. Inside a small home, a little girl named Shayuna was sound asleep in her crib. Her mother and her boyfriend owned what they thought was a harmless pet, a Burmese python named Gypsy. But Gypsy wasn't in a secure enclosure. She was kept in a simple glass tank, covered with nothing more than a quilt. And on this night, Gypsy was hungry. At nearly 9 feet long, Gypsy had already escaped her tank several times before. But this time, instead of crawling under the couch or across the floor, she found her way into the baby's room. What happened next would shock the entire nation. The python slithered silently into the crib and wrapped itself around the sleeping toddler. By the time her mother rushed in, it was too late. Shayuna was gone. A 2-year-old life cut short not by neglect, but by the very creature they thought they could control. The Burmese python is one of the largest snakes in the world, capable of growing over 20 feet long. Native to Southeast Asia, they're ambush predators, designed by nature to constrict their prey until every last breath is gone. In the wild, that prey might be monkeys, deer, or wild pigs. But in captivity, when hunger strikes, their instincts don't care if it's a pet rat or a human child. Authorities later discovered that Gypsy hadn't been fed for over a month. She was severely underweight, restless, and desperate. That desperation led her straight to tragedy. The couple responsible were later charged with manslaughter and child neglect, but nothing could undo what had happened. Exotic pets like the Burmese python might seem majestic, but they are predators at their core. And no matter how much you love them, you cannot erase millions of years of instinct. For one family in Florida, the lesson came too late. When people think of exotic pets, reptiles are often at the top of the list. Snakes, lizards, and even crocodiles have fascinated humans for centuries. They're sleek, mysterious, and often misunderstood. But sometimes these cold-blooded creatures remind us that they are not meant to be domesticated. 2. Giant constrictor snakes. Boa constrictors, Burmese pythons, and reticulated pythons are among the most popular large snakes kept as pets. At first, they seem docile, spending most of their time curled up in a tank, feeding only once every couple of weeks. Owners believe they have full control, but reality is different. A deadly embrace. Constrictor snakes kill their prey by wrapping around them and squeezing until the victim can no longer breathe. While this works in the wild on rodents or deer, in captivity, these snakes have attacked their handlers. Adults, children, and even experienced owners have tragically lost their lives. Cases that shocked the world. In 2009, a tragic story from Florida surfaced when a Burmese python escaped its enclosure and strangled a 2-year-old girl as she slept. It shook the nation and forced lawmakers to rethink the regulations on exotic pets. Another case involved an experienced snake handler in Canada who kept multiple large constrictors. 2 young children were sleeping in a room above his snake enclosure when an African rock python escaped. The snake slipped through an air duct and fatally attacked both children. These tragedies highlight the undeniable fact. No matter how much trust an owner believes they have built, a giant snake is driven by instincts that humans can never fully suppress. The warning signs owners often ignore. Snakes don't snap suddenly, they show signals. Restlessness, refusing food, striking at cage glass, but owners often mistake these behaviors as quirks. Some even handle their pets when hungry, unknowingly putting themselves in mortal danger. Why do people keep them anyway? For many, giant snakes are a status symbol, an exotic companion that sets them apart. Others feel a strange connection with these misunderstood creatures. But owning such a pet is not only risky, it's unfair to the animal itself, which requires specialized care and vast enclosures to live healthily. If you're finding this story eye-opening, take a second to hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful stories that the world needs to hear. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss our next episode. 3. The green iguana. Now, you may think iguanas are harmless, just big, lazy lizards, right? But green iguanas, one of the most common exotic pets, can grow up to 6 feet long and weigh over 20 pounds. Their size, strength, and sharp claws make them far more dangerous than many owners expect. Aggressive tendencies. While young iguanas may seem calm, adult males often become territorial, especially during breeding season. They can whip their tails with surprising force, scratch deeply with their claws, and bite with razor-sharp teeth. A case in point. In one incident, a young boy was attacked by a family's pet iguana when he got too close during feeding time. The bite left him with deep lacerations that required multiple stitches. Doctors warned that iguana bites can transmit salmonella and other infections, making them even more dangerous than they look. Why iguanas become a deadly problem. Most people buy iguanas when they are small, not realizing how quickly they grow. Within a few years, their size and aggressive instincts overwhelm owners, who often abandon them in the wild. This has created invasive populations in Florida, Puerto Rico, and other regions, where iguanas damage property, attack small pets, and spread disease. The truth is, iguanas are not starter pets. They are wild animals, and when confined to cages, their stress can turn to aggression. Case Study 2. The Burmese python. If there's one exotic pet that repeatedly makes headlines for all the wrong reasons, it's the Burmese python. On the surface, this massive snake is mesmerizing. Its intricate patterns, the way it coils with power, and its calm demeanor often lull inexperienced owners into believing it's a safe giant. But here's the chilling truth. These snakes are apex predators, wired to constrict and kill. Burmese pythons can grow over 20 feet long and weigh more than 200 pounds. Even a python just half that size can easily overpower an adult human. For owners who take them lightly, tragedy is only a matter of time. One documented case involved a family who kept a Burmese python as a pet. It had escaped its enclosure several times before, but instead of securing it properly, they underestimated the danger. One night, the snake broke out again, this time fatally strangling a young child in their sleep. The event shocked the community and served as a brutal reminder. Wild predators cannot be domesticated. And it's not just rare freak accidents. Across the United States, multiple cases have surfaced where pet pythons have attacked or killed their owners. Once they reach maturity, they are not the cute hatchlings people once admired. They are cold-blooded killers with instinctual hunting behavior. Imagine inviting a predator into your home, one powerful enough to crush the very life out of you. These tragedies don't just take lives, they leave behind broken families who believed they were sharing their homes with a tame animal. If stories like these make you reflect on the hidden dangers of exotic pets, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want more shocking true stories of animals that turned deadly, subscribe now and join our community. Every new subscriber helps us keep spreading awareness about the realities behind these so-called pets. Case Study 3. The chimpanzee. Moving on to perhaps the most infamous exotic pet of all, the chimpanzee. At first glance, chimps look playful, intelligent, and almost human. Many people fall in love with their expressions and mannerisms. But here's what most pet owners don't realize. Chimps share 98% of human DNA, but they are not human, and that 2% difference can be catastrophic. As they mature, chimpanzees become territorial, aggressive, and immensely strong. To put it in perspective, a single adult chimp is estimated to be at least 5 times stronger than an average adult man. When their tempers flare, the results are horrifying. One of the most disturbing cases occurred in Connecticut, when a pet chimpanzee named Travis turned on a family friend. In a sudden burst of violence, he mauled her, tearing off parts of her face and leaving her permanently disfigured. It took police intervention and lethal force to stop the chimp. This tragedy shocked the world and became a landmark case that raised questions about why such animals are even allowed to be kept as pets. Chimps don't just snap out of nowhere. As they grow older, their natural instincts kick in. What owners mistake for affection can quickly turn into dominant struggles. To a chimpanzee, a human is not a friend. It's either a threat or a weaker being to control. Think about it. Raising a chimp is like raising a ticking time bomb. No matter how much love or training you give, instincts will eventually surface. And when they do, they can leave scars, both physical and emotional, that last a lifetime. Now, let's step into one of the most dangerous yet alluring categories of exotic pets: big cats. Lions, tigers, leopards, and cougars may look majestic and fascinating when kept as pets. But behind their beauty lies an untamed predator with instincts no amount of love or training can erase. Imagine walking into someone's backyard and seeing a tiger lounging near the pool or a lion pacing inside a homemade enclosure. To the owners, these are companions. But to the animal, it's a prison, and one wrong move can trigger its wild nature. Story 1. The Tragedy of Ming the Tiger, New York City. In the early 2000s, the world was stunned when it was discovered that a man named Antoine Yates had secretly kept a 425-pound Bengal Siberian tiger named Ming inside his Harlem apartment. For years, Yates raised Ming as though he were a massive house cat, feeding him raw chickens and even letting him roam inside the apartment. But when Yates attempted to break up a fight between Ming and his pet cat, the tiger lashed out, sinking his teeth deep into Yates's arm. He managed to escape to the hospital, but staff quickly grew suspicious of the dog bite he claimed caused the injury. When police arrived at the apartment, they heard the unmistakable growl of a tiger inside. It took a full SWAT team and tranquilizer darts shot through the window to finally subdue Ming. The tragedy here isn't just the risk to Yates, but also to his neighbors. Anyone in the building could have been attacked if Ming had escaped. This story shows us a chilling truth. Wild animals will always revert to their natural instincts, no matter how much we humanize them. Story 2. The Ohio Massacre. Exotic animals on the loose. In Zanesville, Ohio, 2011, authorities faced one of the most horrifying incidents in modern history involving exotic pets. A man named Terry Thompson had collected dozens of exotic animals, including 18 rare Bengal tigers, 17 lions, cougars, bears, and wolves. When Thompson tragically took his own life, he released all the animals into the surrounding community before doing so. Imagine waking up in your quiet Ohio town only to see a lion running through the streets. That was the nightmare reality for the residents of Zanesville. Law enforcement had no choice but to shoot and kill most of the animals to prevent human deaths. In the end, 49 animals were killed, including all of Thompson's tigers and lions. This event sparked massive debates about the legality and morality of owning such creatures. It was a heartbreaking outcome, not just for the people, but for the animals that never belonged in captivity to begin with. Story 3. The Tragedy of Exotic Pet Owners. Tigers. Even in so-called sanctuaries or private collections, big cats have turned on their handlers. In one infamous case, a woman in Kansas was killed by her boyfriend's pet tiger. She had entered the enclosure to feed it while he was away, only for the animal to instantly attack. When authorities investigated, they found the tiger was kept in makeshift cages, poorly secured, with no proper training or safety protocols in place. For neighbors, the thought that a 500-pound predator was living just a fence away was horrifying, and it forced lawmakers to once again reconsider how dangerous exotic pets really are. Why big cats turn deadly? Why do lions, tigers, and cougars inevitably attack? Here are a few reasons. Instinct overpowers affection. No matter how much you bond with a wildcat, its survival instincts remain sharp. Size and power. A single swipe from a tiger's paw can crush bones. Even a playful act can be fatal. Stress in captivity. These animals are meant to roam vast territories, not live in cages. Confinement often fuels aggression. Unpredictability. A loud noise, a sudden movement, or even a flash of jealousy can trigger a deadly reaction. The truth is sobering. Big cats are apex predators, not pets. Every time a tragedy occurs, we hear the same phrase repeated: the animal just snapped. But the reality is, they never snap. They simply act according to their wild nature. Humans often convince themselves that love can tame anything. But with a lion or tiger, love isn't enough to suppress millions of years of evolutionary instinct. What's even more heartbreaking is that when these attacks happen, the animal usually pays the price, killed on the spot or euthanized for simply behaving as it was designed to. If you're finding these stories eye-opening, now is a good time to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. By supporting us, you're helping us continue to share stories that raise awareness about the hidden dangers of exotic pets. And remember, every click you make helps spread the word that some animals should never be kept in cages or homes. Big cats inspire awe and fascination. But bringing them into your home isn't a sign of bravery or love, it's a gamble with lives at stake. From Harlem apartments to Ohio neighborhoods, the lesson remains the same. Exotic pets are not toys, and treating them as such can have deadly consequences. As we've seen, the world of exotic pets is both fascinating and frightening. From the wild beauty of big cats and venomous snakes to the hidden dangers of primates, reptiles, and even cute creatures like sugar gliders, one truth remains clear. Wild animals are not meant to be pets. When humans try to bend nature for their own thrill, the consequences can be tragic, not just for the owners, but for the animals themselves. Behind every headline of a pet attack lies a story of misplaced trust, shattered families, and an animal that never asked to live in captivity. If you've stayed with me this far, it shows you care about safety, awareness, and respect for nature. So let me leave you with this. Sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't the animal. It's the illusion that we can control it. Exotic pets may look beautiful, but behind that beauty can lie deadly power. If this story has opened your eyes or made you think twice about exotic pets, then I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every share spreads awareness. Every subscribe supports the mission. And together we can keep telling these powerful stories. Because in the end, it's not just about pets gone wrong. It's about respecting the wild where it belongs.